Hello, hello. Welcome to NASCAR Now, my friends. We teased this Monday that a special guest would be in studio with us today. Kurt Busch, thanks for being here.
Absolutely. It's good to be here.
Excellent. Ahead in the next 30 minutes, we'll tell you why he is here, Kurt's big news, and why racing 1,100 miles in one day is on his career bucket list. Then, over at his day job, it's not been the start he'd hoped for this year, but do bad days matter as much now that the regular season emphasis is so much on winning? And speaking of winning, we'll talk to the crew chief who did it most recently. Rodney Childers joins us next on NASCAR Now.
Successful, Kurt Busch will become just the fourth driver to do the Indy Charlotte double and the first since Robbie Gordon a decade ago.
Robbie Gordon will drive 1,100 miles today, all things being well.
In his 4 attempts, he has never completed the 1,100 miles. His most successful 500 finish, when attempted the double, was in 2002 when he finished 8th.
I feel good. I feel confident, real excited.
He followed up with a 16th place result at Charlotte, but was not on the lead lap.
I'm going to be wounded for a while. We thought we were going to have it for him, and we just came up a bit short in both ends.
John Andretti was the first to attempt the double, and that was in 1994.
Glad to see John Andretti make it.
He started and finished 10th that year in the 500 before engine issues forced him to retire just past the halfway in the 600-mile race in Charlotte.
Here in the Tony Stewart pit, the concern is not fuel, but time. He will have approximately 5.5 minutes from the wave of the checkered flag to be on a helicopter to head to Charlotte, or else he will miss the start of the 600 miles.
By far, the most successful of the previous 3 drivers to attempt the double is native Hoosier Tony Stewart. Stewart ran the Indy Charlotte double just twice, but made his mark on both races, both years. He completed all but 10 miles at Indy, finishing 9th and 6th respectively those years. At Charlotte, he managed to sum up the energy to run all 1,200 miles, winding up 4th in 1999 and 1 spot better in 2001, the year he became the only driver to complete all 1,100 miles on the same day.
Hats off to Tony. This is a lot of work.
You know, I had 2 doctors on the plane that took real good care of me.
Well, some notable names in racing have hit the Twitter today to reach out to Kurt Busch. Elio Castroneves has won Indy a few times, says we'll see you there. Jimmy Johnson, right on. I'm stoked you're doing the double. And Casey Kane says that this year it will be fun to watch. Kurt Busch in studio with us today. Let me just start with the most basic question. Why?
Just like insanity. I like the chaos. No, really, it's a dream come true to have a shot at this. Years ago, back in the 90s, a guy offered me a stock car ride. And the same week, a guy named Davey Hamilton was trying to give me a midget ride to run on a dirt track with USAC. And that fork in the road moment happened. And so this is something that we're circle back around, and to tie it in with Andretti Autosport, I couldn't have found 2 better groups to help me do this double on the same day.
You tested with that team last year. How did that kind of get it going?
That was exactly it. It was the kid in the candy store moment, but how can we turn this into a reality? And it was too soon to do it last year. And all of the green lights have come on this year. And just to see that video that you guys just put together of the past history of the double and the ones that have tried to compete against this task of the physical side and the mental side, there's a lot of things that have to come into play to make this a successful run.
Well, just the fact that only one of the drivers once has been able to pull it off, all 1,100 miles in one day, that just tells you a little bit of how hard it is. What do you anticipate being the toughest part?
Well, I've always tried to challenge myself in motorsports, and to win the Sprint Cup Championship years ago was the ultimate pinnacle. And I've been a NASCAR guy my whole life, and I've watched IndyCar guys come over and try the NASCAR world. And I've always had my arms open and tried to listen to these guys and to see what they were thinking, what they wanted to accomplish. And so now to be one of the first stock car guys to go back over and try the IndyCar side, it's a challenge. It's a unique challenge to try a different discipline in motorsports. And the biggest thing will be when they drop the green we all 33 rifle down into turn 1, and to experience that draft, that's something you can't simulate, and it's something you can't prepare for, and I hope to rely on my oval background to get me through that.
You know, we were just talking a few minutes ago. I've personally been to the 500 where you hear over the PA, oh, it's the hottest day on record. The next year, it's the hottest day on record. So not only do you have the chance that Indy will again be the hottest day on record, but then you have to go and do 600 more miles. How are you prepping physically for the toll that that day will take on you?
Well, it starts now. 3 months of training. I've got a martial arts instructor to do boot camp, and he's been whooping me into shape already. And just going to the next level in training and fitness, the mental aspect, the mental side of being prepared for this is large. And just the whole NASCAR community embracing it and rooting me on, the open wheel guys with their arms open. I've got to rely on as many different sources as I can to be prepared for this. And what better guy than Tony Stewart to lean on for experience.
Most successful guy to do it.
And Andretti Autosport's giving me tapes to watch already. I want to sit down with Tony and watch some of these tapes.
What was his response when you said, I'm doing it?
He says, I'll fire up my plane, we're going, I'll be there with you. And he's ready to start in the back of the 600, but he won't do that. We need to keep him focused on the 600. That is my ultimate focus, is to be there for Gene Haas, to try to win that race that night. But this is an opportunity of a lifetime to run the Indy 500 and to do it on the same day as the 600.
Opportunity of a lifetime, but it will probably in some way impact the day job. What concerns do you have about it taking a toll on the championship that you're ultimately fighting for in the Cup Series?
Well, there's the challenges and the logistical side of being able to get back and forth. We have Cessna that's going to be our plane partner to get us back and forth.
And we're looking on screen right now at just how much work you're going to need.
Yes, it starts exactly that. That event in Kansas, I go straight from there to Indy and run May 11th through the 15th. There's a big conflict on what IndyCar calls Fast Friday, which is our qualifying day for the All-Star race. And then with NASCAR, I've talked to Mike Helton about what it takes to be eligible for the championship, and that is attempting to qualify for the points-paying races. So with Thursday not being a conflict of Coca-Cola 600 weekend, I'm guaranteed still a shot at the championship, even though I might not make it there to start the Haas Automation car that Sunday night in the Coke 600.
Okay.
So a little bit of logistical stuff, Mother Nature, hopefully she plays well, but we are as best prepared with Andretti Autosport and with Stewart Haas Racing. I'm ready.
Real quickly, the last time Robbie Gordon tried to do this, it rained. And we heard them say, he's got 5 minutes. If it all goes fine, he's got 5 minutes to get on the helicopter and get to Charlotte. What if you would win Indy? Are you prepared to pack up and leave and just drop everything? Because, I mean, that's kind of a big deal if you win Indy.
We can play what if all day long here. There is a veteran of IndyCar drivers that are going to make sure that I am not the guy to win the race, because they are the ones that have been doing it for years. So we'll see how it plays out. There is a small 30-minute window that we have that we can play with a little bit.
Much more with Kurt Busch as we continue on. Right now, we welcome in ESPN The Magazine senior writer Ryan McGee. So this year's Indy 500 will feature all the usual IndyCar drivers, which now includes Juan Pablo Montoya, plus cameos from Jacques Villeneuve and Kurt Busch. Now, personally, I think that's a pretty fun lineup to watch.
Yeah, and you know, it kind of harks back to the old days. You know, you hate to do that all the time, but you know, back in the kind of the glory days of the 500, that's what you had. You had stock car guys. You know, you had guys coming off the desert from the West Coast. You had Formula One guys coming from Europe. So I love having that crazy mixture of drivers from every discipline you can think of, because that feels like what the Indianapolis 500 is supposed to feel like, and now Kurt Busch is part of it.
The double, though, has never been an easy feat. 3 drivers have tried it, but only Tony Stewart once has pulled off all 1,100 miles in one day. What is Kurt not thinking of in terms of the challenges? Because it's more than just the race day shenanigans.
Yeah, well, that's just it. It's a month. You know, that's the part of it. It goes on for 3 weeks at Indy. It goes on for 2 weeks at Charlotte. And I was with Robbie Gordon the last time this was attempted in 2004. And even after having done it several times, he underestimated how tired he was going to be once he got to Charlotte. I think he came within 1 lap of completing the 1,100 miles in 2002. So he got to a 4th, thought it was going to be a piece of cake. And it wasn't. And Tony Stewart's the first one to tell you he was exhausted. He just underestimated it. So that's the part that Kurt Busch is going to have to be ready for. But the good news for him is he's surrounded now by a camp of drivers who can help him with that there at Stewart Haas Racing.
End of the day, the only thing that really matters is how he will do in both of those races. Let's talk expectations for both Indy and Charlotte. Start with Indy.
Well, we'll start with Indy, and I think the goal is pretty simple. Finish on the lead lap. You know, obviously he's going to want to win the race, and if he has a chance, he will. But if you finish on the lead lap, as you know, Nicole, that probably means you're going to finish in the top half of the field, more than likely going to finish close to the top 10. So I think that's a safe goal. Win Rookie of the Year in 2014 and come back in 2015 with a legit chance to win it maybe. When he gets to Charlotte, here's the thing. He's never been that great at Charlotte to start off with, so he will be a little tired. If he can get a top 10 at Indy, say 10th, and then he can get a top 10 at Charlotte, say 10th, that is a good day of work.
I love that race. I love Indy. I love that weekend. It's going to be fun to watch. Ryan McGee, thanks so much. Let's go under the hood. We now know how Ryan thinks Kurt will do in May, but coming up, some harsh words from another ESPN.com writer in response to our Turn 4 question of the day. Then win and in. That is how the chase is set up this season. Why that makes life a whole lot easier for the 4 team. We'll talk to crew chief Rodney Childers next.
People cannot eat a whole pretzel loaded with that much bold flavor.
Just try it.
Snyder's of Hanover flavored pretzel pieces. So much bold flavor, we had to break it into pieces.
Perfect.
Snyder's of Hanover. Taste how great a pretzel can be.
This is Kevin. To prove to you that Aleve is the better choice for him, he's agreed to give it up.
It's today?
We'll be with him all day as he goes back to taking Tylenol.
That was okay, but after lunch my knee started to hurt again, and now I've got to take more pills. Yeah, another pill stop. Can I get my Aleve back yet? For my pain, I want my Aleve.
Look for the Easy Open Red Arthritis Cap.
Everything friends do for each other, return the favor. Friends don't let friends smoke. Give them the only electronic cigarette worth switching to. The Enjoy King. Cigarettes, you've met your match.
Are these the new Nacho Grande corn crunchers?
Try some.
Pimiento, cebollas, queso? Eso es sabor intenso.
You said it.
See.
New corn crunchers from Snyder's of Hanover. Big bold flavor, big corn crunch.
The grounds thaw and legends warm up. Anticipation swells and azaleas bloom. There will be green everywhere, but it won't be spring until the Masters. April 10th and 11th on ESPN.
The NASCAR Nationwide Series is back in action this weekend from, again, that terribly boring town of Las Vegas, Nevada. Catch all of the action starting at 4 Eastern on ESPN2.
Kevin Harvick has answered the bell one final time.
Harvick off turn number 4. Everybody said he would be the man. He definitely is the man. They've been chasing him all day. Harvick, man number 2 in the chase for 2014 as he wins at Phoenix.
Harvick picked up the win in just his second race with crew chief Rodney Childers, and lately, having a new crew chief seems to be the key to winning the spring race at Phoenix. Each of the last 4 seasons, the winner of the race was in just his second race with his new crew chief. Last year, it was Carl Edwards and Jimmy Fennig. And joining us now via the phone is this year's winning crew chief, Mr. Childers himself. New team, new driver, new year. Why was getting off to a solid start priority 1 for you guys?
Well, I mean, it is with everybody, really. You know, it's something that we worked really hard at over the winter. You know, we've had to build all new cars and all new equipment and everything to get this team started. And on the other hand, we also knew that that was one of Kevin's best racetracks and that we really needed to be prepared when we got there. And you know, luckily we got there and the setup that we had was fast on Friday, and we were able to just fine-tune it all weekend and make it better and better as it went.
Thanks for bringing that up, because Kevin now has 5 Phoenix wins. How much of Sunday's dominance, because really you did make it look easy, how much of that dominance is a credit to the way that Kevin has a feel for that particular racetrack?
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty much exceptional there. You know, on Friday, sit there and look at the lap times, and we were thinking our car was pretty good, and he came off the racetrack and said it was just pretty much plowing and way too tight, and we're sitting there thinking, man, it can't be that bad, but, you know, he knows what he needs there, and the more we worked on it, the better it got, and you know, by the end of happy hour, he was happy with it, and the lap time showed it.
Ricky Craven talked on the show Monday about how he sees you impacting Kevin. I want you to take a listen to this.
I think what Rodney Childers can bring for Kevin Harvick and this team is a counterbalance. Rodney Childers is highly regarded in the garage. He seems to be a very composed, relaxed crew chief. He comes prepared. He makes notes. He had the value of 8 weeks off at the end of 2013. That's not something a crew chief typically asks for, but he inherited that, and he took advantage of it. He saw racing from a 20,000-foot view. Kevin Harvick has all the tools, the ability to win a championship, but he hadn't won one to date. So what's he need? He needs his bad days to be better than what they've been in the past. He's going to have plenty of good days. I think Rodney Childers can bring that balance.
And for you, this is the first time since 2011 that you've had a driver, one person in the car, week in and week out. How does that make it easier on you?
No, you just can't imagine how much better that feels, and you know, it's just something that you can build on every single weekend, and you can, you know, just focus on one thing, and you know, that part of it is going to be, you know, exceptional, you know, for me as the year goes on. And Ricky's right, you know, I mean, that time at the end of the year was you know, well spent, and it was time listening to Kevin on the radio and preparing for this year, and kind of thinking about what we needed for a new team, and parts and pieces and the right people to put in place. So that part of it, we were just, you know, pretty lucky that we got the right people in place, and everything seems to be going real smooth.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. talked about this Sunday. He said he was able to be more aggressive and go for the win because they were already locked in the chase. Besides the ability to be aggressive and take a few more chances, how much are you impacted by the fact that you know you're in?
Well, I mean, it will change things at certain times of the year, but our overall attitude and our focus will still be the same. You know, we'll still be going to the racetrack and, you know, focusing on making our car the best we can in practice and trying to win the race every week. You know, the races that come down to fuel mileage and other things like that, we'll definitely take more gambles with than other people, and, you know, and hopefully some of those will pay off.
Rodney, thanks so much. Good luck to you this weekend in Vegas.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Coming up next, more with Kurt Busch and reaction to Kurt's decision to do the double. Now, find out who says it's not a good idea. Then we'll talk to Kurt about his day job in the Cup Series season so far. It's not been smooth, but does the start really matter? That is coming up next.
Why wait for the weekend for fun? Head to Dave & Buster's for half-price games every Wednesday. Every game is half off all day long. Half-price games Wednesday at Dave & Buster's, the only place for food and fun.
Hey, get in! Punch!
Let Quicken Loans help you save your money with a mortgage that's engineered to amaze.
Mine was earned in Korea in 1953.
Afghanistan in 2009. Orbiting the moon in 1971.
Once it's earned, USAA Auto Insurance is often handed down from generation to generation because it offers a superior level of protection and because USAA's commitment to serve current and former military members and their families is without equal. Begin your legacy. Get an auto insurance quote. USAA. We know what it means to serve.
Who am I? I'm nobody.
I'm nobody.
Who am I? I'm nobody.
But on any given Saturday,
nobody can beat somebody.
The race leader is James Busher.
Nobody can rise up from nowhere.
Final lap, side by side.
Nobody can win a championship.
Who gets to the checkered flag?
I'm Chris Buescher. Dylan Kwasniewski. James Busher. Ryan Reed.
I'm nobody.
What a finish!
And I just may win a championship.
This is a national healthcare alert from the Health Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You could qualify for a pain-relieving knee brace at little or no cost to you. Get free delivery, and all the paperwork is handled by our accredited suppliers at no charge to you. If you are on Medicare and have knee pain, don't wait. You may qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost. Friendly agents are standing by 24/7 to help you. Call the Health Hotline right now for details toll-free. Our friendly representatives are standing by now to take your call. We also have other pain-relieving braces available for shoulder, ankle, and your back. You may be eligible to receive these items and more at little or no cost to you as well. Call right now for details toll-free.
Operators are standing by. Call 855-742-4419. That's 855-742-4419. Again, 855-742-4419. That's 855-742-4419.
Turn 4 is brought to you by AutoZone.
Our lead story of the day also happens to be the Turn 4 question of the week presented by AutoZone, with the announcement that Kurt Busch will be doing the double this year, the Indy 500 and the Coke 600, all in one day. We reached out to our ESPN.com writers to ask one simple question. What are the expectations for Kurt?
I'm John Oriovitz. Any driver who moonlights runs the risk of losing a bit of focus on their main program, in Kurt Busch's case, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. But I applaud Kurt for having the guts to try doing the double. All the other drivers who have done it in the past had prior IndyCar experience, and he's coming in as a raw rookie with very limited seat time in open-wheel formula cars. With a dearth of Indy 500 entries, qualifying won't be a problem. Making it to the finish must be his #1 goal, and finishing in the top 12 or 15 would be a very worthwhile achievement.
I'm Brant James. Completing all the laps would be a major feat, but one that is within the ultra-talented driver's capabilities. Finding an opportunity for more IndyCar oval test time is imperative, however, and even with it, maneuvering around Indianapolis Motor Speedway in an open-wheel car is no easy or safe task for a newcomer. The 600 will seem like a cruise control drive across the desert thereafter.
I'm Ed Hinton. You don't just jump into an open-wheel car and run in packs without a steep learning curve, no matter how much you've tested. I'll give even money he wrecks at Indy, especially if he applies his all-out, on-the-edge style. I'd give higher odds than that if not for the possibility he'll play it very cautiously. Either way, he won't be a contender there. At Charlotte, regardless of his conditioning, he'll start more fatigued than the others. That last 100 miles is tough on everybody. If he makes it that far, he'll already have 1,000 miles logged for the day.
All right, we'll just start with, what's your response to that?
I got to start laughing. I think of when John Candy's trying to do the big 96er, trying to eat the steak in the great outdoors. I hear Ed Hinton's voice, and I think of him trying to finish that last 20 ounces.
Oh, God. I'll leave that alone.
No, it's funny. It is a challenge because I have no IndyCar experience. I've been telling my PR group that we've got our stats from Stock Car World of championships and race wins, and they forgot to put the IndyCar stats in there. And they're like, well, it's because there are none. I said, that's fine. Put the zeros. 0 races attempted, 0 laps led, 0 races finished. And that is the big objective, is to finish those 500 miles. Can we be part of the Fast 9 that qualifies on that Saturday, Sunday? Maybe not. But can we make the top half of the field in the 500? That's a good possibility.
Not being a part of the Fast 9 might actually work in your favor, because it might give you more time to practice that race setup, which ultimately is the end game. Testing. Brant James brought that up. He said that you need to get out there and test before the month of May opens. Yeah. What's on tap for that?
We'll have a couple test sessions. We're still trying to work through some of the fine print of whether it's going to be at Indianapolis Motor Speedway or another oval. But the biggest thing on why Andretti Autosport is key to making this happen is the way that they operate their month of May in race trim. They focus 100% on that race trim that first week. And so when they send out the first car, they send out all 5 together. I'll be the last car out the first day, and we have to see how I pick up the draft and how things blend in for our car and our program.
You're also one of 5 drivers on that team now, so you have a fair amount of teammate support to lean on. More with Kurt when we continue. Coming up next on NASCAR Now, the start of the season so far in that day job hasn't gone exactly the way Kurt had planned, and then getting rid of those Vegas gremlins. That is next.
other. There's an endless road to rediscover. For you, there's nothing in this world I wouldn't do.
For everything friends do for each other, return the favor. Friends don't let friends smoke. Give them the only electronic cigarette worth switching to. The Enjoy King. Cigarettes, you've met your match.
Be powerful. Connect. Verizon.
This is the age of knowing what you're made of. Why let erectile dysfunction get in your way? Talk to your doctor about Viagra. Ask if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Viagra if you take nitrates for chest pain. It may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects include headache, flushing, upset stomach, and abnormal vision. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. Stop taking Viagra and call your doctor right away if you experience a sudden decrease or loss in vision or hearing. This is the age of taking action. Viagra. Talk to your doctor.
How do you do this? Oh, there we go.
Godzilla's actually pretty cool. Except when he's hungry.
What's wrong with Snickers?
You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers satisfies. See the new Godzilla in theaters May 16th.
Unscripted.
Well, I'm gay, see? Whoa, that's a spoiler alert. Yeah, I know.
Uncensored.
I've lost my train of thought.
Unstoppable.
You ever think, oh, I hope I don't get nominated?
No. Unlike anything.
I don't know if you know this. A lot of people think you're a jerk.
Or anyone.
Jimmy Kimmel.
You've seen him late night.
Those are not my boobs.
Those actually are my boobs.
Jimmy Kimmel Live. Unmissable. Late nights on ABC.
NASCAR Now is back at you tomorrow, 11 p.m. Pacific. We head out west for the third stop of the year in the Sprint Cup Series. Brad Doherty will help us look ahead to the race in Las Vegas. That's NASCAR Now right here on ESPN2. Kurt Busch is with us today in studio. Let's talk that day job, the start of the season. A 21st in Daytona, a blown engine in Phoenix. Obviously not the start you'd wanted. However, what positives can you take from your first 2 real weeks with Stewart-Haas Racing?
Just that our team communication is going well, and we both, Daniel and I, have understood where we did things well and then where we missed it a little bit. And then, yeah, the bad luck demons of a blown motor on week 2 put you 30th in points. Do points even matter anymore?
That's what I was going to ask.
I really don't think they do. It's a matter of getting that win and being, you know, up in that top 25, so to speak, of points. But if you're running well, you're going to be up there in points. And that's what we have to do. We got to turn it around at Vegas and use what Kevin Harvick used to win at Phoenix and just apply it to our car.
So Vegas is the hometown race. But let me read some stats here because it's never seemed to be home sweet home for you.
It's awful. Go for it. Let it rip.
0 wins, only 1 top 5 and 13 starts. And then, just to pile on, it is your worst track in terms of average finish. Again, not exactly home sweet home. First of all, what's been that block? What's been the thing that's like stopping you from finding better success in the hometown track?
Vegas has just been one of those tough tracks that the results are tough to post just due to things out of our control sometimes, whether it's a wreck in front of you or DNFs, mechanical failures, me overdriving the car. Vegas does that to me. So sometimes you just got to block it all out. To me, Vegas is like a Daytona 500 with that hometown feel, and I got to do a better job of blocking it out.
It's a big one. Kurt Busch, thanks so much for being here, and thank you for watching us. Remember, we're back tomorrow, but first we leave you now with the sights and sounds from Phoenix.
All right, buddy, there'll be 9 to go to take the green. 9 exciting ones.
Here they come, 9 laps to go.
We are 3 wide for the race lead.
Joey Logano did not want to push Kevin Harvick. He wanted to get to his inside. It doesn't work. Harvick's got the lead. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is now in second. The Penske teammates side by side for third.
Clear by 2. Keep in your marks.
They've been chasing him all day. Harvick wins at Phoenix.
Awesome freaking job, guys! Hell yeah! Great job! What a race car!